Hi there, this is Kevin from Maximizing E-commerce, and I help people build and grow e-commerce businesses. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to make money selling products on Amazon and really just give you a basic overview, kind of a high level of Amazon selling as a what we call third-party seller to see if this would be something you'd be interested in and help you achieve your goals. So to get started here, what we'll do is talk a little bit about who should sell on Amazon. So you might be interested in selling products on Amazon if you're looking to start a business. This is a great way to start a business with either as much or as little money as you're interested in starting with. It's a great way to get started. You can make some extra money just off on the side. It's relatively passive, meaning we'll show you some great ways you can do it. So the Amazon actually takes care of most of the hard work, the heavy lifting for you as far as shipping out orders and things of that nature. And we'll go over that a little bit more as this presentation goes by, and also help you find alternative ways to invest your money. That's one of the nice things about selling e-commerce, and especially selling on Amazon. It's a great way to infuse cash. With whatever money you're looking to invest, the returns, if you were to compare, let's say, a classic investment like stocks or real estate, it's going to pretty much blow it out of the water. So you may be wondering, why sell on Amazon of all places? Well, there's a few things a lot of people don't really realize about selling on Amazon. Amazon sells each year over 1 billion items. And I'm not talking about $1 billion in sales. I mean 1 billion individual items. And of those, about half of their sales come from third-party sellers. That's one thing a lot of people don't realize. They think when they go on Amazon.com and they purchase a product, that product's coming from Amazon. And we'll show you here in this video how a lot of times products that are sold on Amazon, the box comes from Amazon. It actually is being it's a product that comes from a third-party seller, such as myself, or there's literally thousands of people that sell on Amazon, and we'll cover a little bit more about that. So selling on Amazon, there's essentially two different ways you could sell on Amazon. First off, you can do what we call fulfillment by merchant. So as a third-party seller, Amazon basically is a platform that helps you get sales. You know, they've got millions of people that buy on Amazon every single day, and people could be searching for whatever your product is, and then they buy it. Amazon says, here's your order. Go ahead and ship this out to Mr. Smith in Seattle, Washington, or whatever the case is. And they give you the address, and you send the product off, and then Amazon gives you the money. There's another way of doing this. It's called fulfillment by Amazon, meaning Amazon actually not only collects the money from the customer, they not only help you by having the platform that you could sell on, but they also actually take the order and they ship it for you. It takes a lot of the hard work out of it. So we'll go into a little bit more depth on those two here in a second. So what is fulfillment by merchant? So basically that's, again, like I was mentioning, Amazon is going to do the hard work as far as bringing the customer to you. In fact, Amazon's telling me they just shipped a product. It's always a nice little email to get there. I didn't actually plan that as I was doing this video. But anyway, what is fulfillment by merchant? It's basically where Amazon's going to pay you a commission for referring the sale. So depending on the product category, generally you're going to pay them 15%. And by pay them, they're going to deduct it from whatever they collect from the customer. So sorry, I got a little off track there. So as the seller, you would be responsible for then in turn shipping the orders. So you would put the postage on the box, which would be collected from the customer, but you'd be responsible for the boxes, the packing materials, the labor that involves in shipping that out, as well as any customer service. So all customer service would be handled by you as the merchant, and then Amazon would step in if they needed to help resolve situations. Now, fulfillment by Amazon means that really the fulfillment of the individual order itself is going to come from Amazon. So as a third-party seller that elects to do fulfillment by Amazon, you take whatever products you have and you send them actually straight to Amazon, to one of their warehouses. They call them fulfillment centers. And you send it to one of Amazon's fulfillment centers, and then they will basically deduct a commission and the shipping costs, sometimes also referred to as pick and pack fees, deducted from your sales. And then once the sale is made, they pretty much handle everything. So they're going to do the shipping and the customer service. So sale is made. So like in my little pop-up, which I didn't plan to have, oddly enough, Amazon actually, what that email little pop-up was telling me was that, alerting me to that, Amazon had made a shipment. So somebody purchased a product and they fulfilled the order to the customer. They sent it off to that customer. And then if that customer had any questions or wanted to know about, hey, I have this tracking number, but it hasn't come in time, or whatever the case is, if they have questions, they go to Amazon. That's one of the nice things about fulfillment by Amazon, which sometimes we refer to as FBA. Now, let's talk a little bit about what some of those fees in FBA look like. A lot of them are dependent on the weight of the product, how much the product costs. So let's just kind of give you a little rundown real quick of what that looks like. So, for example, let's say you're selling an item and the selling price is $20. So a customer purchases $20. Now, Amazon's going to collect that $20 from the consumer, typically by some sort of credit card, their pay system. I'm sure you yourself have gone on Amazon at some point and purchased something. Now, on the back end, what they're going to do for the seller is they're going to deduct $3 out of that. Then that $3, in this case, representing 15% commission, so 15% of $20 is $3. Now, then there's going to be fulfillment fees involved. And so let's just pretend like it's something that is less than £1. So the fulfillment fees currently are $2.99. Now, these tend to change quite a bit, so don't get too wrapped up in the exactness of it, but you can at least follow along and see the general concept of how this works. So then there's also a per item fee of 99 cents every time you sell an item. Now, there's ways to get around that. So if you've been selling on Amazon and you elect to get what's called a professional account, you would have this 99-cent waived. But if you're just starting out and you're going to sell less than 40 products a month, it's actually worth it to just pay the per item fee, which is what I did when I first started. Then you could look at the gross profit on that being of, let's say, $13.02. So Amazon would put it $13.02 once that product is shipped out in this hypothetical situation into your seller account. Then on the back end, you'd say to yourself, okay, well, let's say the cost of sales was $7. And it could be more, could be less, but this is just a hypothetical example here. So that would leave a net profit of $6.02. So based on what the cost of the sale was, and the cost of the sale meaning you paid $7 to physically get that product. Could be, again, could be more, could be less, but if you paid $7 for the product, and then with the commission and the fulfillment fees, you're walking away with $6. Well, just a little over $6 in this hypothetical example. So your return on investment of the $7 you invested, because you'd be investing on the front end actually for the product. So let's say you put $7 in to get that product, and then you'd be getting $13.02 out. That leaves you a return on investment of 86% in this hypothetical. And I can tell you there's a lot of products I've sold and seen sold that are the return on investment is much higher. Now, it could be lower. I mean, there's, like any business, there's always risk. So as I mentioned, their results could vary. But that just helps you see some of the potential here. Is that if you think about like the stock market, for example, they always talk about hypothetically that the stock market goes up, let's say 10% a year, or over that has since the 1920s. Now, or whatever the time period is. I'm not a stock expert, and I don't want to protest to be one. But in this case, you can think about like, imagine getting a return on investment of 86%. Now, granted, there's a little bit more work involved because you have to physically find the products and send them off to Amazon. But that's going to be a whole lot better than a lot of other traditional investment vehicles. Now, not that I want to say that this is an investment. Well, it is an investment of your time and some of your resources and energy and all that to do something like this, but it's not as hard as you might think. So let's just give you an example of how this works in case you're wondering, like, do people really sell third party on Amazon? Absolutely. So let's just take a look here to see what this actually looks like. So we're going to go over here to Amazon.com. So we're going to give an example. Now, in case you ever watch other videos like this and people talk about how they how it works with products and doing sourcing, generally speaking, you're going to hear examples of products that I would probably, if I were you, never actually sell yourself. Sometimes there's kind of inside jokes in the Amazon selling space, but I'm going to use garlic press as an example, which is a relatively common example used in teaching this kind of stuff. So if we're looking here, these are the results that came back from garlic press. So as you see here in this top row where it says, or actually it says right here, sponsored. So all these are sponsored ads. So if I were to click on that, there'd be a cost involved for whoever's selling that for me to go there. So it's one way of driving traffic. You can see these sponsored ads here at the top and here on the right. Now, the best ones, of course, to get are these ones that don't say sponsored, because those are what we call organic. Now, if I were to take a look here at OXO Good Grip Soft Handled Garlic Press. Now, this here, you'll see this is here what we call the star rating. So that's all these customer reviews, what people thought of it overall. It talks about how it's $15.99, free shipping and orders over $35. Now, if I was signed in as Prime, it would show most likely that I could get this with Prime. Now, you can see here's the operative part of knowing who's the seller. Now, this says ships from and sold by Amazon.com. So that means Amazon is both the seller, so this isn't a third-party seller, and they're also the shipper. Now, there's other third-party sellers that are selling it. This over here is going to show you all the third-party sellers that sell it. So if somebody came to this listing, they don't necessarily have to buy this particular one from Amazon. They could buy one from a third-party seller. Now, generally speaking, the best thing to do is have here what we call the buy box, this add to cart. That's a very important concept whenever selling on Amazon, is this add to cart. So anything you do, you always want to make sure, whether it be with pricing or exclusivity, that you get what we call the buy box. So let's show you another example of garlic press. I'm going to go back up here and hit the back button. And if I go over here to Alpha Griller's garlic press and peeler set, you can see this is Amazon's choice, which just basically means typically means it's a high seller. So this one has quite a few reviews. This is I know this is coming from a third-party seller, because if you look, it says sold by Alpha Grillers, which is the name of the company. It just so happens to also be the brand, as you see right here. But this is the name of the company that sells it, and then it says fulfilled by Amazon. So this is an example of FBA, as we like to say, in action. So this particular company, they sell this garlic press, and it's fulfilled by Amazon. Now that's one of many, many, many examples of fulfilled by Amazon and how that would work. So this is a company that sends these particular products to Amazon warehouses, and then anytime it's sold, Amazon ships it out to the customer, and then they would in turn, with this particular product, send the money to Alpha Grillers once the product has been sold. Probably very similar fee structure, being the fact that the price in our example earlier was $20 and this is $19.97. And this is, we can look down here, it's going to tell us actually what the shipping weight is. So 9.6 ounces. So even with the box, which is probably going to be about 4 ounces, it's still going to be less than 16 ounces, which of course you know is a pound. So let's go back and learn a little bit more about how all this works. So how do you get products to sell on Amazon? Well, there's a few different ways of doing it, depending on how much resources and time. There's a few basic ways people get products to sell on Amazon. There's one particular strategy, I guess you could call it, called retail arbitrage. So let's say you went to a local store, like a Walmart, for example, and they had things on the clearance rack, and it was something where you bought it for, let's just give the example from earlier, $7. You bought it for $7, and you could see that you could sell it online for $20. Now, let's just say the the weight worked out similar to what our example was earlier, you'd be taking home about $6 profit, or actually $13. So after you paid yourself back for that $7 you invested, you're getting an extra $6. So it's an amazing return on investment if you're able to get that. Now you got to make sure you find the right margins whenever there's sales, and a lot of times there's other people going after it, but that's a great way to get started. That's how I made my first few sales on Amazon, was doing retail arbitrage. There's a similar concept called online arbitrage. So if you found deals online, and you purchased a particular product and you had it shipped to you, and then you send it to Amazon, that's another way people do it, is instead of from a retail store, it's online arbitrage. A similar concept. You're basically buying it from somewhere else and selling it on Amazon at whatever the going market rate is, because as you know, sales fluctuate from time to time. So just because something's on sale this week doesn't mean it won't, or that it will be on sale next week. So that's basically how that works. So you're just taking, I hate to use the word take advantage, but you're utilizing the opportunity, I should say, of sales and deals that are out there, and then in turn turning around to make a profit. And then there's what they call wholesaling. So you purchase large quantities, typically, of someone else's product and sell it on Amazon. That's typically one you got to have a pretty good relationship with a wholesale supplier of some sort, just to make sure that you get good margins, and then of course that they would be getting good margins in turn. And then there's another way of doing it, which is if you're selling your own product. So it could be your own invention, designing your own product, or private label, as people talk a lot in this space about, is selling things on private label. So for example, if, like, let's say you had an invention, the problem with selling something, if it's your invention, is on Amazon, people go to find things. There's something they're already looking for. They go on Amazon, and if they're looking for Amazon sends me emails from time to time there. But if you're going online and you're looking to buy a garlic press, for example, you know kind of a general idea of what you're looking for. Now, if you sold some great new invention that had to do with garlic, unless it fits in with a keyword of something someone's already looking for, they may not ever find it. So that's the thing, is oftentimes it works to find the product that's already in existence and just have a better version of it. Amazon is almost designed for selling better versions of the mousetrap, so to speak. And then designing your own product, which could take a little bit more involvement in. And then private label is basically taking a product that already exists from a factory somewhere. It could be China, or it could be the US, or wherever that is, and then putting your logo, putting your name brand on it. And that's a concept that actually happens quite a bit. I mean, think about it, like when you go to the store and you see, for example, I live in Florida, and oftentimes if I go to Publix, our local supermarket here in Florida, there'll be all these different products that have Publix's name brand on it. And I can tell you that that's, for the most part, it's not Publix necessarily making that product. They're purchasing it from someone else. Now, they might make that product, and I don't want to speak on behalf of Publix, but when you go to a store and you see it's their name on the product, they might be making it, or they might not be making it. I can tell you, one time I went on a tour of a milk factory, and it was amazing how this one particular milk factory is probably not the right word, but a milk bottler here in Florida, they basically made the milk for their own name brand, as well as for it listed off, it was almost a dozen stores in the area. All they did was just put a different label on it. It's kind of the same concept of this. So instead of milk with just a different label on it, it might be, and don't use this one here, but barbecue gloves with the same, a similar product. Could be slight alterations of it. And the more you can alter a product to make it unique and to better serve the market, the better. So that's, these are just some examples of ways to find the products so you can sell on Amazon. Now, once you get going on, let's say you start on Amazon.com, which is US, you could potentially go international. So Amazon has marketplaces. So Amazon.com is a marketplace, and there's marketplaces all over the world. And this is a map I got from Amazon. So as of March 2015, this is what they have on their website, although this is I'm filming this much later than 2015, but even though this is a couple years old, it's still accurate. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's more coming online. I wouldn't be surprised if here in the coming years we probably see Amazon marketplaces in South America. But you can see how even though the marketplaces are only in these yellowish countries, that Amazon is pretty much all over. So looking at this, customers can buy in 180 countries. There's 109 fulfillment centers. Now that is growing constantly. I wouldn't be surprised if that number is actually inaccurate, because it seems like there are always new ones coming on board. Even here in the US. So as Amazon grows, they still build more fulfillment centers, even in the United States, let alone in other parts of the world. And there's a lot of growth opportunity outside of the US. So if you are looking to go into Amazon and potentially go international, I mean, first off, start with whatever's closest to you. So if you're here in the US, Amazon US is a juggernaut. I mean, it's huge. So you could start off on Amazon.com, and with that you'd have what they call North American seller account, which could also branch off into Canada and Mexico. Now, if you go into other countries, you just got to learn some of the nuances of the laws and how to import into those countries. You may need certain permits, but as long as you do the research and you find all that stuff and you pay the taxes that you're supposed to pay and whatever it is, and you can get the numbers to work out profitably for you, it can be a great opportunity. And currently I do sell in the US and Canada, and I'm also starting to branch out into UK, which will be a jumping off point for what they call pan-European selling. So I would just take what I've started selling in the UK into other marketplaces like Germany, France, Italy, Spain. I would just need to, of course, translate those with a native speaker just to better have, so basically I could reach the audience and speak to the audience in those countries. And then of course there's other marketplaces like Japan, India, China. I mean, think about the millions, or actually when we're talking about countries like India and China, we're literally talking billions of people that are covered just by these Amazon marketplaces. I mean, it's crazy when you really think about it, and they're really just scratching the surface. I mean, and it's amazing that they're allowing sellers like us to jump on board. I get really excited when I think about this, but we get the opportunity to partner with Amazon to sell whatever those products are that we are selling, whether it's our own branded products or someone else's products. I mean, there's always certain rules that you got to learn, but as long as you follow those rules and do a good job in helping Amazon sell to customers and with good products, this is an amazing opportunity. So if you're interested in getting started, you may have heard this analogy before, and I believe it's a proverb from somewhere, I think it was China. Maybe I'm wrong. But either way, they say that the best time to plant a tree if you want shade today is to have planted it 20 years ago. Well, if you didn't plant a tree 20 years ago, the second best time is now. So my most important tip to you is, if this sounds like something you're interested in, get started. Just get out there, register an account with Amazon to get started selling. You can figure out things as you get started, but the key is just get started. So again, my name is Kevin from Maximizing Ecommerce, and feel free to go to maximizingecommerce.com, sign up to get some more tips and resources to help you on this journey if this sounds like something you're interested in doing. So if you found this helpful, I would just ask that you please like, subscribe, or share your thoughts in the comments below, because it helps other people find this video as well. So again, thank you for watching, and I appreciate you being on board, and hopefully we can share more information with you at a later time. Thanks.